is next when we talk about this committee that's meeting? This was all planned to speed up the process. What is next in the process?
You know, that will be up to the committee itself. We gave the committee no direction other than the rules as set forth as we saw them in the statutes and in the Constitution. They just adopted their rules. They just went into a meeting to adopt the rules. So it will be up to the committee to take direction at this, or to lead at this point on that.
What would be your priorities for the budget?
I'm sorry?
What would you like to see in the budget?
In the budget? Oh gosh, it would change gears on us there. I think that our priorities have been pretty clear over the last two budgets that we've written. I think we have been very committed to public education that you've seen in the two budgets that we have written as a House, both of them creating record spending on SEEK allocations. Unfortunately, the one at the end of the session last year kind of met an untimely demise with the appearance of the virus, but that has always been an education, will continue to be. Prioritizing getting Kentucky back to work, helping small businesses get reopened. I think that you will see us make investments in unemployment insurance, as well as infrastructure, broadband. There are a number of issues that I think that you will see as we meet over the next couple of weeks. You will see us unveil a document that will truly be our vision for the direction of the state.
So is the petition? I was once scolded by you, Speaker, and I'm feeling very similarly right now. Is the petition on Robert Goforth going to a separate impeachment committee, or is it going to?
It's one the same one.
Okay. So again, I asked you this on Monday, but I'm going to ask it again. It seems like there might be a flood of impeachment petitions coming up. Are you worried that this committee is going to be bogged down for the rest of the session, just having to deal with impeachment after impeachment after?
No, and actually quite the contrary. I mean, I would hope not, but I understand the practicalities of it and the world that we live in these days. So I think that it's certainly likely to happen. And that was one of the, there's been a lot of discussion about whether it should have gone to the Judiciary Committee or not. First of all, let me say that the Judiciary, the partisan makeup of the Judiciary Committee is 14-4, 14 Republicans to 4 Democrats. So I actually think that the impeachment committee, which is 4-3, 4 Republicans to 3 Democrats, is a much more balanced committee, even though it doesn't reflect the makeup of the House. But secondly, the Judiciary Committee is committed to doing a lot of other work during this session, and that is we felt inappropriate to continue to allow it to interfere with business, the normal conducting of business. We're trying everything we can to keep this from being any more of a distraction than possible. It's difficult, I understand, but this at least gets it out of the standing committee process.
Yeah, and so I know that you've made several comments about the solemn nature of this, right? That there's never been a governor impeached, but there's also a really big political aspect to this, in that no governor has ever been impeached. And I'm just, when you're do you have to weigh the political aspect to the fact that you sent this to committee, right? And what are your thoughts on the fact that there are now headlines saying governor has impeachment committee when this hasn't happened?
There is no joy to be taken in this, I can assure you. And the law and the Constitution give us guidance, and I think it's good to observe that guidance, even when it's not convenient, even though when it's not popular. The fact that I have maintained that I'm not going to comment on this issue makes nobody happy. It doesn't make either side happy. That's not a place I prefer to be. But it is the course that is prescribed for us, and I think it's important that we maintain that. I understand that there will be lots of discussion, lots of discourse around us on this issue, but I think it's really important that we maintain the proper conduct in this position and not get drug into that.
Will the Goforth petition also go to that same committee, or
It did. It did.
So any
Assuming they're properly filed and executed. This one appeared to be delivered to the clerk appropriately with appropriate paperwork, so we did refer it.
For those of us who aren't very familiar with this, is it normal to get these petitions often? How often do you get petitions like this in a regular year?
In the previous 4 years that we've been in the majority, we've had one. And I do want to point out that we followed the exact same process in that. That was a nonpartisan judge. And I think that is another reason that we wanted to go this direction, because we followed this exact same process previously. And again, while I understand that there's agreement and disagreement about whether we should do it or shouldn't do it or how we should do it, the fact that we did it before when the cameras weren't on, I think makes it all more important to be appropriate when the cameras are on.
So the go-forth petition will be treated the exact same way?
It will be. And I haven't reviewed that. We looked at the signatures, the timestamps, that the documents were there, which constituted, a proper, or it was properly executed. So, but I have no idea whether to the merits of it or the details of it, quite frankly.
Does the House have the legal authority to impeach a member? Wouldn't it be, or would a citizen be able to do this? Or I thought the House members themselves had to try to expel someone by the way the Constitution is written, versus a citizen filing a petition like this on a House member.
We're again, we've got legal counsel that's looking into that. Section 39 of the Constitution, I believe, is pretty clear that the only ability to remove a House member is from the House itself, an action of the House itself. But we're making sure we have all those details before having complete understanding of that. These things don't happen very often, so I don't want to say something that is inaccurate just because I rushed into saying something that I believe to be true, but may not actually be accurate.
So whereas a governor would have an impeachment trial in the Senate, the thought is that maybe that this would only stay in the House, even with an impeachment committee, it wouldn't take that step to the Senate.
Correct. The ability to, I'm pretty confident in that one, that the ability to remove a member, expel a member from the House, rests solely in the House. And the same for the Senate.
If HB 1, SB 1, and SB 2 eventually become law, either through if you're signing it or the impeachment being overridden, is there any concern that getting rid of some of those regulations may lead to a spike in cases going up? It just kind of address that.
No, again, I think it requires thoughtful consideration, as opposed to, one of the things that we've been somewhat critical of the governor of over time was not the particular policies, but the fact that they were applied equally in every situation. So I do think it requires a much more strategic and thoughtful approach to doing it, as opposed to just one size fits all.
Are you concerned that these petitions are going to start to be filed in an effort to clog up your body's ability to get work done?
Again, I addressed that just a minute ago, Chris, but that is part of the consideration of actually having this impeachment committee was to the Judiciary Committee will continue to meet and take up legislation throughout this session, very important legislation, and we couldn't have that committee clogged up without impeding the progress of legislation we're moving. Also pointed out that the partisan makeup of the Judiciary Committee was 14 Republicans and 4 Democrats, which reflects the makeup of the body, which our rules require. The partisan makeup of the impeachment committee is 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats.
How do you expect the budget process to go now that we've gotten to a conference meeting, or at least you guys are going to be finalizing that process today over the next couple of weeks before you...
Staff will start working on what they call difference documents immediately, and we will probably talk virtually and by phone over the next few days to figure out the schedule for when we will meet. We appointed the conference committee today, just a few minutes ago as we adjourned. So there will be meetings going on over the next 3 weeks until we reconvene. And hopefully we can have a very advanced document by the time we come back here in February.
I know Democrats have been calling for a lot of the proposals that Bashir proposed in his budget address. Where do you guys have with negotiations over many of those points?
You know, we are going to give, and I've tried to be very clear from the beginning that the documents that we passed were not indicative of what this ultimate budget was going to look like. It was simply to expedite the process and get us into it. The budget, the governor's recommendations will be fully considered, given every consideration, and I'm sure that there are many that we will agree with. I'm sure that there are some that we will disagree with, quite frankly. It's the way the budget process works.
House Bill 191, the $220 or $1 million small business fund idea, I know that's still kind of sitting waiting a vote. Where are you guys at with that?
I think that's too big of a bill with $240 million to rush through. I think that it is important that we deal with that issue as quickly as possible because obviously businesses are struggling. But the bill has some ambiguity in language that made it impossible really to implement as it was. But it will absolutely. We had a call with members of the administration yesterday on that bill to talk about some of the details, and it will absolutely again be given every consideration. And I think that you will see some form of a small business restoration assistance anyway.
How soon do you think the conference meeting are we talking next week or Friday?
Again, I believe we will be meeting virtually and by phone over the next several days to try to develop that schedule, and hopefully before we come back in February, we'll have a very advanced document to work with. Whether or not it'll be completed or not, I don't know. I would hope so, but it's a big project to undertake in 2 weeks.